Welcome, everybody, to another Rev Talk. We have Vanessa, Reverend Vanessa, with us today, and of course, Kimberly, too, Reverend Kim, and myself. Today, we're going to go and learn something new about how do we handle something that really we wanted and didn't get or expected. How did we get thrown under the bus for these things? Is it divine timing? Is it just goodwill? We don't know. So let's see what you guys think about it. Take it away, Reverend Vanessa.
Oh, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm so thrilled to be here talking to the both of you. Such a treat for me. Um, I just wanted to share that I had an experience this week that rocked me, had to do with like a personal family matter, and I didn't get my way. And and I thought that it was a true shoo-in for me to be a part of this meeting. And it didn't happen for me. And at first, I was angry and upset. But then when I took a step back and talked to my angels, and had to sit with my feelings, I realized that our angels always have our back, number one, right? And number two, I heard clearly, you need to protect your peace right now. You don't need to be there. It's all good. It's all good. And when I still was a little bit like stomp on my feet with my angels, I again heard that this just isn't your role right now. You're always going to be needed, and your your points are valid. Um, your insights matter, but it just isn't for you to play a part in right now. And you need to take a step back, and we have other things that you need to do anyway. You're still going to be busy this week. So conserve your energy, wait to respond, and you'll see later why you don't need to be there. And I had to just trust my angels, and I had to trust it's all good, God's own orderly direction, and let things play out the way that they needed to play out. I realized that I was still trying to be control the outcome. And that's not my role. It's no one's role, right? So the gremlins were loud, but when I realized that I needed to rest in here and take a pause, I knew that it really truly was all good, even if I didn't get my way. And that's just such a huge lesson from, someone who's 95 to 15, I mean, it's like it really applies to so many things that I feel like people are going through right now.
Well, it's like you
So,
say, you have to take that step back and
mhm,
take a deep breath
yeah.
and honor yourself because your wisdom's there and your angels are talking to you, but it's hard to do
hmm
because
I
you want
literally,
things
yeah.
in your time. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, I literally had to go like this, put my hand on my heart and say, wait a minute, I know that nothing is by accident, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is, Kim, I still remember the day I said, I made a mistake. It was an accident. You said, no, there are no mistakes. There are no accidents. Everything is for a reason. And, and I was able to. The other thing is, as ministers, right, there's always an opportunity to minister, always. And I knew that this was an opportunity for me later to minister to my brother and say some things to make him think and to make him kind of just marinate in what I was saying. Whether it resonated with him or not, I still asked my angels and God to allow me to be the instrument that I needed to be, despite not getting my way,
Hmm.
because I was really like, I was really pissed. But it's all good, and it did work out. It did. It was a rough week, but I just stayed the observer. And I feel like there were just a lot of little mini lessons to really take from all of that.
Yeah, see, you learned them. You're learning them. You're working
Yeah.
with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
Mm-hmm.
good sign.
Yeah. It's, not easy.
No.
Um, but
Yes, I was gonna give you,
yeah.
I was gonna give you, because you said, oh, I was really mad for like 15 minutes, and I was thinking, wow, that's huge. I'd have been beating that dead horse for days. I'd have been so mad for days. I'm thinking 15 minutes. Oh boy, do I have a few things that I have to.
Oh, funny. Well, I mean, it was 15 minutes where I was like seeing red and stars.
Yeah.
And then I really just what helped because I was driving too, so I needed to like really stay in my body, and I had to say just that, like, Vanessa, just stay in your body. Just stay in your body. There's reasons for this. Let go and let God right now. And then I had another moment later, maybe a few hours later, where I was like, I stewed for a little bit. Um, but I knew that there was just a greater message that I really had to listen to. And I feel like those are the energies right now. We're really being forced to take periodic moments, connect. What are you going to say, Beth?
Well, I was just going to say, have you found when you're in situations that irritate you, that if you're around the right energies or the right people, it doesn't escalate. You have good energies coming in to simmer it down and you begin to look at it peacefully and understand what's going on. Where if you're in a group of people or a family situation and they're all at each other's throats, it just blooms, it
Mm,
just explodes. And you found retreating within yourself and connecting to your angels. You can also do that if you retreat into a group, not necessarily having to explain the situation, but their energies are there to comfort you.
hmm. Well,
And those are
yeah.
all the energies that are around us right now if we accept the good energies.
Hmm. Well, it was funny because my mom was in the car with me, and I was driving, and when I heard this news, and she's definitely like my safe person. Like I can say what I want to say, and she's just sits there, you know, doesn't know what to do with me sometimes. Um, so I was able to, say what I needed to say, but still, um, but I also thought to myself, like, this is an opportunity too for me to say some truths, hard truths,
Mhm.
that I think is hard for her to hear, but I felt like I was getting stuff off my chest too, you know?
You were releasing it.
Yeah. But I guess the lesson here today and why I'm sharing it is because everybody can choose to take a step back and can choose to look deeper. It might take longer for some people. And that's totally fine. But the opportunity is there to see the bigger picture and to go deeper. Do you know what I mean?
It's what
Absolutely.
we always say.
Mm-hmm.
We have mentioned that before, is to being able
Mhm.
to take a step back. If you're not seeing the picture completely, is to take a step back. And if you're still not seeing it, take another step back and then take as many steps as you need before you're getting a really good visual of what's going on. There's a couple of things that come to mind with what you said, Vanessa, and that's, you were knee jerk triggered. And there's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I find that, I have to ask myself, all right, where is this coming from? I have to kind of identify for me where that's coming from in order for me to say, oh, okay, now I see I can release that and let that go. I love the fact though that but you're so plugged in anyway. You
Yeah.
are, you are so in tune with your angels, for the most part, all the time,
I
that
try.
you're in communication with them, and so they are so quick to respond.
Mm,
and you're so quick to pick up on it
mm.
because you have that open channel with them and you've been working on that. And so I think that's lovely. The fact that you were able to share with your mom and to say, like you said, those hard truths, and she was able to listen, which is huge in and of itself. I think
I
that
also,
was part of it as well.
hmm I also, you know what the angels were showing me too is that it wasn't personal like I thought it was. And I feel like there's a book, The Four Agreements,
Yeah.
which I need to break open again.
Yeah.
But because at first I took it very personally for that 15 minutes. I went down this rabbit hole,
Mhm.
and and that's easy to do, right? But then I felt like, okay, just wait a minute. This is not personal. This is something that really has nothing to do with me.
Something bigger
It was.
that's outside of you. You just
Yeah.
happen to be there.
And I knew too that my brother needed to see what he needed to see on God's watch, not mine, you know. And I feel like that also can be applicable to everybody's scenario, whatever people are going through, it's really on God's time.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's well, and that's really a very good point, is to for everybody to be able to, and no judgment, to be able to pause, to give yourself that pause,
Yeah.
because while you're seeing red, there is every opportunity to just spew,
Yeah.
and that's not helpful. Then you end up regretting and kind of beating yourself. I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have that. So for everybody, especially triggered and kind of hair triggered at the holidays, people can get kind of antsy and stressed, and it's good to be able to take a breath and to just pause before you do anything, because you have that power to be able to pause. There's no
It's a practice.
right.
And that's something to pray about.
Absolutely.
Angels, loving God, please help me to practice the pause.
That's
you know,
good.
and there's a wonderful book. Elvia introduced me to it. It's called Change Me Prayers. Have you ever heard of it?
I've seen it. I haven't.
Oh, it is so good. And it's a real quick read. It's just a book about prayers because change, right? It starts with us, right?
Hmm.
So, change me, divine beloved, to blah, 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 blah. And I love this book so much that I was like, I'm going to make my own change me prayers, like, because, you know, I need to
I need to
change.
change.
Yes. So I say that often, change me, angels, so I know how to X, Y, and Z. Change me, angels, so I can, whatever the case may be. Um, and I feel like that's, part of our ministry is to be able to change and grow so we can teach that,
It is.
and I also felt too that there's always an opportunity to minister, and I knew that my brother, maybe I know that he's been disconnected for a while and that bothers him, disconnected from God.
Hmm.
And I just kept hearing, like, Vanessa, you need to plant the seeds for him. It's all good. Like, let this be the opportunity for you to slowly, just little seeds here and there, because I mean, I so want to be like, Jared, do you know how the angels could change your life? Do you know how much they love you? You know, but it's like, Yeah.
That's a hard one there because we
Yeah.
get so excited about what
Right.
we know
I
and we
know.
want to tell everybody, do
I know.
this.
I know. I know. I know. I know.
Oh,
But it's all good. And it was a hard couple of days while he was there, but nonetheless, I think that he was pleasantly surprised that I just wasn't, because normally I'd be
you
like
wouldn't.
this.
Yes. Well, at the beginning of our ministry, when we were taking classes, you were like that and you were calming down. And so you're
Right.
able to control it now
Yeah.
and look at it differently, which is a whole huge growth.
Well, all of us, look how far we've come.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is true.
you know, that I'm getting, that I'm hearing as well with this is I know we all have a desire to minister to people. We have that desire. What I'm getting from this, though, for at least for you, well, it involves everybody, though, is we need to minister to ourselves first.
Yes. Yes.
So the desire to, and it's everything. I know there are family members of mine that want to fix me,
Yeah.
want to fix, they want to fix everything. And it's kind of the same energy, the same passion. You want people to feel good about themselves, and you have this wonderful information. You need to minister to yourself
Yeah.
first, before anything else.
It's so true. It's
Mhm.
so, so true. It's such a great point. That's why I feel like I literally had to like put my hand over my heart and say, like, what is it that the angels need me to know right now in order to like, I had to minister to myself. I had to nurture myself. I had to take a long hot shower. I had to make my tea. I really had to take care of myself that day. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, but it was still a doozy, but it wasn't as painful as I think that it could have been.
That's good.
Yeah. So sometimes when we don't get our way, it's really for our
Hmm.
highest and best. It always is. It always is.
And for us to flip that coin or that lens and to view it as it was never about getting your way.
Mm,
It was never, that was never even in the realm.
mm,
And for us to, and being human, we do that, stomping the feet, I want my way. And yet, like you said, you sat with your angels and they were able to kind of tell you, this is, it's not yours to do.
mhm, mhm,
And I've had that, there's been that question for me with some things. Is this mine to do?
mhm.
And
Right.
that's a tough question sometimes to answer
Mhm,
because you have to take time. You can't just get a split second decision and,
mhm. Yeah, and I thought that you're right. Like I thought that it was getting my way. Like I felt like I was entitled to be there.
right, right. I understand that. I understand.
I really thought that
This
it
is
was
I'm
mine to
part of
carry.
this family,
Yep, yep, yep,
absolutely,
yep,
absolutely. Right there with you on that. And
yep, yep. And it just it and what really shook me was you need to conserve your energy and your peace right
I
now.
like that. I
And I
like
was
that.
like, damn. I never ever would have thought that I would have heard that. But the angels know best.
They do.
They
They
do.
will. You.
Yeah,
They
That is
yeah,
good.
do.
yeah.
So, Bev, you've been kind of quiet.
I'm observing.
Yeah.
I'm seeing how far we've all come, like you
Mm,
said. And now it's not just talk. We're doing
right.
the work
Yes.
and we're just sitting back and enjoying seeing the fruits that are coming from it.
Mhm.
Where, people usually say, oh, you're crazy talking to angels, do this and that. And it's not, because it's becoming a way of life for us.
Hmm.
It's
And
comfortable.
yeah, it's very comfortable. And
Hmm.
You're
people don't
right.
look at me like I'm crazy. They call them Nana-isms for me when I spew something, and they'll throw them back at me when we're in a situation. And I thought, oh, did I say that? And then oh yeah, that's how I believe. And it's really, really exciting to see the growth in all of us.
Hmm.
And there's reasons for it, and the lessons are there for us. And we're taking the lessons and learning and then giving it out to other people to see. Your mother saw you not get all upset and yell and rant and rave. Your brother saw that. And all your life that you would get mad, and that was how you were, and that's how we behaved. And now we're able to sit there, and then they look at you, well, and your dad will do it. He'll try to get you going, and he doesn't anymore. You're able to see the bigger picture and
Hmm.
see the love in him.
Hmm.
And this is what's important. And this is why we're here, because we will spread it out.
Yeah. And coincidentally, this is really funny because after that whole episode, um, I definitely got triggered because I always felt a little bit misunderstood by my dad, Um, and but my mom and I still had some errands to do, and I bumped into somebody, one of my clients. I hadn't seen her in a while, randomly at the store. And I said, "Oh, hi, it's so good to see you." And my mom got to see me like really in action, you know?
Oh, that's
It was
great.
wild. And I had a really just very nice exchange with this woman. And she went on her way, and my mom was like, see, Vanessa, like you really are seen, and please don't worry about dad, and it's okay that he doesn't understand, and other people do. And it just was very validating. And
That's it
that was
right
so
there.
divinely timed, you
Absolutely. That was
know.
not random at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It's
It really
not
wasn't.
random.
I know. And that was just such a little wink from my angels saying, like, Vanessa, like, what you do really matters.
Yes.
That's right.
And this is why we need you to conserve your peace and stay heart centered here, because um, whether you realize it or not, whether you see it or not, like you're still going to be doing your thing despite what your dad may see or not see. It didn't matter, you know?
That's right.
So it was all
You
good.
got your answer pretty quickly, too.
Mm,
What they were telling you about conserving
mhm.
your peace, and then they showed you this is the reason why,
Right.
in the same day,
Hmm.
in a shorter period of time.
Within 40 minutes,
That's
Yeah.
right there,
you know?
man, that's amazing.
Yeah. But we
That,
all have the ability, we all do.
yes.
It's just again practicing the pause, and I feel like, you know, dedicated to your spiritual practice. Like the tenants are like
Yeah.
screaming.
Yeah. I hate
They
that when
really
something
are.
happens and a tenant pops up and
I know.
ooh.
Last time it was compassionate in every moment.
Uh-huh.
Compassionate in every moment.
Yep.
I need to make like a wallpaper of these tenants,
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. But I picked a card,
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
and I was guided to Return of Spirit.
Oh,
Have you
let
ever
me
seen
see
this
back in
deck?
my
It's
Mm,
pretty
I
wild.
like the colors.
It
Yeah.
was gifted to me. But look what fell out. Prayers.
Oh,
Isn't that beautiful?
you can't make this up.
I
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
I know.
All
And
the
I
prayers
feel
are
like,
answered.
That's lovely.
yeah, I feel like they're answered, but also the reminder of the importance to pray. Because prayer is really about setting an intention to let the angels take over.
I do that every night. That's my time to go over everything and see what I have to release and have to work with. And it's become quite a habit. In fact, I'm getting like Kim now. I'm waking up at 3 o'clock to where I fell asleep to finish the conversation, but at least I know we're communicating and there is a prayer group going along the same lines. And it's very rewarding because it just kind of calms you down throughout when they can work on you, what
Right.
I'm trying to say,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's very rewarding to stay in prayer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I find that there are a lot of holes in the day where I'm resorting to prayer too, whether it's washing dishes or folding laundry. It's just an opportunity to plug in,
Yeah,
you know?
I love that. I love that.
been conscious.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's
I
wonderful.
agree.
So, guys, what do we think?
I think we did well.
I think
Yeah.
awesome. I want to
This,
thank you, Reverend Vanessa. Thank you
Yes.
so
oh,
much
it's
for
such an
joining us.
honor. Thank you so much for
So
having
much
me.
fun.
We should
Oh my
have you every
gosh. We'll
month.
have you back
I,
all the time if we can.
yeah, I'd love it.
Schedule permits.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we want to thank everybody else for joining us as well on this Rev Talk. And we also want to remind you all to be gentle with yourself and to be kind to yourself and to remember that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends, be well.
Thanks, everybody.